Part 2. From Empty to Full. A key factor in identifying the needs of our age is understanding the transition from an empty to a full world. At the birth of Christ, the Earth's entire population was just 300 million, smaller than the population of the United States today. About 45 million people lived at the time of Christ in the Roman Empire. It is estimated that the population of the world reached 1 billion for the first time in 1804. Thus, it took over 200,000 years of human history for the world's population to reach 1 billion. Consider that the prophet founders of the Bahá'í Faith were born when the population of the world was around 1 billion, and reflect on the changes that have taken place since their dispensation. J.E. Esselmont, a prominent Baha'i from Scotland, wrote that the greatest proof of a manifestation of God is the creative power of His Word, its effectiveness to change and transform all human affairs. In the case of the world's population before the 19th century, population growth was minimal. But starting with the middle of the 19th century, growth became exponential. 123 years after the world reached 1 billion, that is, in 1927, the population of the world reached 2 billion. 33 years later, in 1960, the population was 3 billion. 14 years later, in 1974, 4 billion. 13 years later, in 1987, 5 billion. 12 years later, in 1999, 6 billion. 11.5 years later, October 31st, 2011, 7 billion. Clearly, to understand today's world, we need to understand the impact of population growth. How important is this growth? What is the impact on the environment of more than 7 billion people living today on the planet? Can the Earth sustain such a population? The answer is no. Today, with 7.6 billion people, we are already overshooting the Earth's biocapacity by 60%. That means we are using resources now that will be needed for future generations. Because of this rapid population growth, major changes have to be made in the world. Many of the teachings of the Baha'i Faith are oriented on the requirements of our recently changed world. When do these changes have to be made? Is action needed now? Consider just one issue: climate change. The scientific evidence and the changes we observe every day in our lives suggests that unstoppable forces may already be active. Today, we need the equivalent of 1.6 Earths to support present levels of consumption and emissions. Where are we going to find another Earth to supply these resources? What is going to happen when there are not enough resources for everyone to live? Let's review some more facts. Some say the livestock industry is destroying the planet. Humans don't have to eat livestock, it's a choice. Livestock species contribute directly and indirectly to deforestation, water pollution, air pollution, greenhouse gases, global warming, desertification, erosion, and human obesity. Global meat consumption will increase by 68% between 2000 and 2030. Global milk consumption will increase by 57% during the same period. Today, 26% of the Earth's land surface is used for livestock grazing. Growing food for livestock is now competing with water. For example, about 1 million acres of alfalfa are grown in California. A field of alfalfa in California is irrigated with water from the Colorado River. This river is diverted hundreds of kilometers, and the water used to grow alfalfa is not available for the people in 7 southwestern states. In 2018, the population in these 7 states is told that they must learn to live with less water from the Colorado River. Virtually all alfalfa, plus millions more acres of corn and oats, is fed to livestock for meat consumption. Looking ahead a few decades, land suitable for agriculture will continue to diminish as urban areas expand, soil is degraded, fertile soil is washed down rivers and blown away, and water tables decline in areas dependent on groundwater for irrigation. These facts and others are reasons to be concerned. Meanwhile, the world population continues to grow.